Yes.
I'm good to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh,
As I click the wrong button on Discord.
I'm ready, so I'll leave.
Alrighty, everything's set up on my end, babe.
got it recording?
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Okie dokie. Sorry. Well, welcome everybody on the YouTubes and other IGC members to this next issue of New Generation for our Critical Impact Masks campaign. Now, we didn't have a session last week for 4th of July, so we took that break off, but now we're going to get back into it and hopefully make some more progress on uncovering some of the mysteries our crew is dealing with. We have our regular players with us tonight. Richter will be joining a little bit later, hopefully, but we're going to go ahead and get started.
Richter plays Kellen, by the way.
Yes, that he does. Okay, so we left off 2 weeks ago now with the party having kind of hit one dead end with their quest for the location of their new sort of friend of Marrow. Turns out their lead turned out to not be a lead, but they've also found some weird clues about other shenanigans going on in Halcyon City that they might have to look into. We're gonna start this session. This issue of the comic book would open up sort of a little bit in the future, and we're gonna explain how we get here as we go. But the comic will open up with the hero team meeting in Muscle Sheep's Park, as is tradition. So you guys have all come there to sort of report some individual findings you've had and follow up on some clues. So you guys have the floor. You are in Muscle Sheep's Park. You can go ahead and greet and introduce yourselves again.
Borf?
Borf?
How long in the future is this?
Not specific, maybe a day or two.
Okay, so not that long of a time skip. It's only been a day.
Yeah, just basically we're starting here in the action, and we're going to explain how you guys found your clues as we go.
I don't think I would have been investigating. So I have nothing in terms of the shenanigans that we've been looking into. Just because my manager has been up my butt about not hanging out. And I'm not going to tell them that, but he's been up my butt about not hanging out with losers.
Okay. Well, that's a fair point. How has the past day or two been for Highlight, actually?
He probably around the same, just in the sense of he still interacts with everyone, but you can tell there's stuff on his mind, and he doesn't respond as much, doesn't seem to be as engaged. But if anyone were to ask, or if anyone were to notice, he would just say he's busy with his career and stuff. And it's only been a day, so it hasn't been like a lot, but you can tell there's something going on with him.
But what are we going for walkies?
This is a fair point.
Who takes him on walks? Do we take turns?
Probably.
I'm fairly certain Muscle Sheep is capable of walking himself.
In fact, I'm fairly certain with his strength, he would just walk us.
Isn't there a leash law?
Well, I like to imagine he just likes to go walking with people. Whenever you go for walks, he's like, "Hey, look at this thing! Look at this thing! And look at this thing over here! This thing."
We're not walking him, we're hanging out, probably, but it involves walking around.
Walk. It's what works best for him.
Okay, we'll start off here with a void spawn, perhaps. What have you done, maybe in the last 24 hours, about the science experiment you and Jalim got up to on your ship the other night?
Probably have stopped working on that for the time being and have run some medical tests on myself to see if there's any lingering effects for that little moment where somebody was using my eyes.
Does your I don't know if that was an option you would have to pick. Does your ship have any kind of advanced medical facility?
I don't think there were any options one way or the other about that, but since my whole thing of coming here was research and it's a research vessel, I was assuming that it would probably have at least some basic medical facilities.
Okay, make me a roll. We're gonna say this will be plus superior, but I'm gonna give you a -1 because of situational doing it through your ship, that kind of.
Okay.
Well,
It's a big
unfortunately,
miss.
yeah. Unfortunately, you are able to do the scans. They do complete. You don't get much meaningful information back for whatever reason. Blood tests you drew, a lot of the results that you normally expect to get came back inconclusive for some reason, but you weren't able to get any specific information. But
Okay.
what have you been occupying your time with more so than if you've not been pursuing that?
If not that, then probably keeping an eye on those weird energy readings that I had picked up, seeing if they spike again, keeping an eye on Titania.
Gotcha. We can pick that note up here in just a minute. Muscle Sheep, I know you've been kind of out of the action for a little while. What's your past little bit been up to? What has Muscle Sheep been doing with his life?
He's mostly been running around the park, but at night he becomes Muscle Sheep, and he starts sniffing around the city for things that smell like either these plant monsters we've been fighting, or trying to find the source of this voice in his head that told him our battle will be legendary. Basically, sniffing out mostly around the park area of the city, trying to find bad guys or bad dogs or cats.
Very fair, and I'm sure that over the past couple days, maybe he came upon some poor purse thief and scared the bejeebus out of him. But about your mental voice, could you roll me plus freak for using your powers?
Plus, okay. Any bonus penalty?
Just a straight roll.
All right.
Oh Jesus!
Kapow!
You definitely have still felt that weird out of body sensation from time to time. Every now and again, it's not on a normal timetable, maybe once an afternoon, you get that pull just for a few minutes that somewhere in this city, your instincts as a dog are telling you to go there, but you can never find out exactly where that is.
I can't sniff it out.
Because you rolled so well, I would say your instincts start to tell you as you try and hone in on where this is. It's down. It's below. There's something underneath the surface of Halcyon which is calling.
So, I think I would anxiously dig some holes in the park, trying to get down. And then eventually, once I start hitting the really tough stuff, like bedrock or just like stone or foundation, I'd start to get a little discouraged and then try and dig a hole somewhere else.
Yeah, so the Central Park has lots of holes in it now. I'm sure that makes the caretakers very pleased. So I know we talked about highlight. You've been kind of struggling with this question, this demand that your manager posed to you. Have you been up to anything else?
I don't think much else other than pestering my team, as it were, for walkies. Probably learning a bit more of the English language. Trying to
Wait,
communicate better.
Did you ask me a question or did you ask Muscle Sheep a question?
Yeah, sorry, I said highlight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do this so much.
Well,
That's
at least we
no
get
problem.
it now. Yeah.
Just said you were working on his English, so there you go. Now he gets it.
He's just getting better and better. I've just been up to showbiz stuff, I'm guessing. More influencing. Less heroing.
That. You see, something that will catch your attention being plugged in to the pulse of the scene here. Supers and super related groups are kind of tense these past couple days because of the upcoming journey of the overlords that are coming to Halcyon. These people that were against superheroes, that want to set some rights and laws to protect non-supers from their oppression, that kind of thing.
Oh, they're coming soon?
They're coming pretty soon. You haven't heard specific date come your way yet, but it's making a lot of heroes kind of anxious, especially the more public one.
Is that, oh, someone's revving. Is that widely known, or is that just something I know because of how much I know in terms of gossip?
I would say that probably anyone who reads the city's Facebook posts knows that they're coming eventually, but you definitely know more than the average Joe about the specifics.
Okay. Yeah, I'd warn everyone. Not warn, but I'd gossip with everyone about that too. That's probably what I would start the conversation with when we all got together, about how the anti-supers basically are planning to visit Halcyon City soon.
Do we want to have that conversation real quick while we are still kind of waiting on Richter to get?
We can. I don't feel any one way about it. Except that they're weird. Doesn't make sense why they would be against us when we do such a good job.
Well, your teammate Highlight has brought this maybe somewhat startling information to your ears. Do any of you have thoughts on?
Well, since I don't really consider my powers to be superpowers so much as natural abilities that I have for my species, I have no particularly strong feelings one way or the other. I feel like if it helps put the general populace's mind at ease, it's probably a good thing.
It's a fair take on it. Emily, do you have any thoughts? I know you have a family of heroes. Not so much then, sorry.
I just opened Discord back up and saw Ryukin's message, and I got really confused.
Oh, about yeah, that was about the motorcycle revving in the background.
Okay, I'm like, what does that have to do with what's going on?
That was me. Well, not my motorcycle, but there was a
Okay.
motorcycle in the back.
I think I agree with, I think it was Highlight that, you know, as long as they're trying to do the right thing, I guess.
You also have to remember, Emily only knows that one of her fathers is a hero, so she's still a little divided, I think.
This is true, but who knows? Maybe he's getting a little antsy. Although I don't think Scott's the one you know that is a super.
Heck, I don't know. I don't remember which dad is which dad.
You're confusing your own fathers.
I'm pretty sure it was Scott, and I don't think he's
Yes,
the
he's
one.
unpowered. I don't know he's a hero. Yeah, wait, yes I do. I don't know Hugo is a hero.
Gotcha. But either way, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal for you either. So actually, unfortunately, Highlight, your news doesn't get a good reaction so much as you thought it would.
Come on. This is like hot goss. This is what everyone's going to be talking about. Or so you... or so you think. That's funny, Acer.
Okay, Emily, something that you will receive, perhaps. Let's say it's you had that argument with Scott. Maybe you went to school the next day. When you eventually came back from school, you'll find something in your room waiting for.
Oh no, what's that?
There's a note on your bed, and next to it is a brand new, crisp, clean pair of your school's uniform, the female student uniform.
Okay. Is it for me or is it for Jellum maybe?
Maybe read the note.
She'll go read the note.
It's written in Hugo's handwriting, and he says, not these specific words, that he and your other dad have talked. It's come to the decision that Jalim can stay for the time being until her. You told them that there was like an earthquake at her house or her apartment, and it came down. So until it gets repaired, quote unquote. But in the meantime, they insist she accompanies you to school every day and stops haunting their room and doing creepy lab experiments in it.
Alrighty. Well, she'll pick up the uniform and take it on over to Jellum's room.
So she'll have that waiting for her, but in the meantime, your dad seemed to for now be tolerating your decision.
That's surprising.
Okay, cycling back to what I said we'd get to in a little bit. That conversation you wanted to have about Titania, Void.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw her, she asked you to leave. That she was gonna have to do something and she'd talk to you later. That was when you picked up those really funky energy. Since then, you haven't heard from her. Are you going to wait for her to contact you, or are you going to check up on her another?
Since she kind of left it on such a weird note with deciding to do something and not explaining what, I'll visit her again under the auspice of doing another food delivery.
Okay, probably for the best, because what you'll see when you get in there is that despite your best efforts of helping her clean the place in this intervening few weeks, all the tables and the lower bunk bed have accrued a new layer of Chinese takeout boxes and Twinkie wrappers and the like, and Titania herself is passed out on the couch with, I don't know, cosmic brownies stuff around her mouth.
Wait, did you say atomic brownie?
Cosmic
Nick
brownie.
brownies.
Oh god.
You know, those snacks that aren't as good as you
With
remember
the
them being.
sprinkles?
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Before I wake her up, I'm just gonna poke around a bit, see if I see anything that looks, aside from the food, out of place that might indicate what she's been up to.
So once again, let's do a assess the situation roll. So go ahead and do a plus superior, and that's exactly it, Ryukin.
I kind of like those. They're not terrible. They're not brownies, but they're not terrible.
No.
We bought some for our road trip tomorrow, and they're not nearly as good as I remember them being, and I'm really disappointed.
Aww.
Oh,
Error.
wow.
Literal 0. I didn't even know that's possible.
Well,
He must have had a negative number modifier.
double ones -2. I'm not even mad. I'm actually impressed.
Same.
Well, you can mark a potential, we'll say that.
Yeah, I've already cycled around to a new potential thing.
Well, I will say that this bungalow is excessively dirty, and perhaps you don't notice anything because even in your cold alien conscience, you detect a bit of anger at it being dirty after you just helped her clean it last time you were.
Yeah, it probably makes sense.
It's a disorderly lab space.
So yeah, I'll wake her up and point out the various takeout bins and things and say, I see you've been getting up to your old lifestyle again.
Oh, sorry, Void. Oh, gosh, I have such a headache. Did you bring anything sweet?
A few things, mostly healthy food though.
Healthy food's not gonna cut it. I need sugar right now. Hand over anything you've got.
And having ascertained that she does have a sweet tooth, I would have brought some snacks.
She will do a munch and eat in a somewhat unladylike fashion while you clean off a place to sit in the apartment. I thought I had said to leave me be, but thankfully I've already finished what I had to do, so you might as well be.
And it's only been a couple of days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does this seem like significantly more than a couple of days worth of food?
It really does, and maybe as you move one over, even within like the Chinese takeout containers, they don't have like the leftover remnants of lo mein or fried rice. It's like the sticky donut things or cinnamon sticks. It's like she's been ordering nothing but desserts for the past 2 days and like a week's worth of desserts.
Well, unless I miss my guess, it seems like you've been using a lot of energy for something.
What can I say? I've lost a little bit of weight since Marrow got taken away.
You're sure there's nothing I can help with?
Well, that's part of why it's good you're here, actually. I'm not going to tell you why, but if you'll trust me, I think I know how I can find Marrow.
You've given me no reason to distrust you so far.
Sometime later, I don't know if it's soon or within a couple of days, I don't know, but at one point, your team, your friends are going to get back together and they're going to find something. And when they do, if I go with you, I'll find Marrow again.
Is there an easy way to get a hold of you?
Well, you have my number, and I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm always down here.
Alright, so if we do find this information, as you say, I will make a side trip to come pick you up then.
You better. I don't know what will happen exactly if you don't. I think it might be bad.
And then I shall do my best to make sure that this comes to pass.
At least you're useful for something, she says as she eats the last of whatever sweet thing you brought.
Ow.
I would feel insulted, but I feel as though most of what I've done is deliver food. And I am saying that out loud.
She reaches over and pats you on the shoulder. Okay, so back at the park then, maybe even that evening, is when you guys have gathered around. As they are still not here, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give you Jalim's part of it, and we'll backtrack and give her the chance to say it for herself when she gets here. But let me think. I think you were around when she had this conversation, Void Spawn, but when she called her informant from within Parasol, the son of the Belladonna.
Yes, I think I was around. I don't think I picked up much of it, but
I don't remember exactly, but who did she tell anybody that they were tracking her? Was it, I think maybe she mentioned it to Emily because they were tracking the house.
I
I'm
think
not
so.
sure. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is what happens when you take a week off. For the record, we will assume she did. So she will mention essentially that she got a new tip about her tracking situation, and according to her, she knows where she can go, infiltrate. It will be a Parasol facility, but if she can get in there, she can disable that tracking, and hopefully no more suits, gargoyles will be showing up at Emily's front door.
That would be nice.
The only complication is, as you have to wheedle it out of her, that this facility is one that Dr. Young proctors, and that name is going to be familiar to at least Az.
So I think I want to say Highlight had heard something as well. I don't remember for sure.
Dr. Young?
Yeah, I feel like somehow you had picked up on something and made a roll to see if you knew anything through your connection.
Mm-mm. I don't think so, anyway. Maybe I'm just not remembering.
I don't recall that, but that's the one of the parasol doctors that's equal to status-wise Bella.
I'm trying to remember if we knew what specialty he had. I think it came up, but I don't remember what it was.
Psychology.
Ooh.
And he's the one that was running the dump the chemicals in the water supply experiment, right?
Indeed, he was, which is why this lead might let you guys kill a few birds with one stone, maybe, if you play your cards right. So what's the plan? Are we going tonight? Do you guys want to scope it out first and prepare, or
I think maybe scoping it out would give Jellum a little bit of time to be in on the action, maybe, before we go do anything massive. Maybe.
fair enough?
There's no immediate urgency that I'm aware of yet.
So you guys will, okay, she'll give you instructions towards a downtown location. Are you wanting to go on foot, or are you going to take the Kirby craft?
You're cutting off your words a little bit, babe.
Were you wanting to go on foot or take the Kirby craft?
I'm fine either way.
Okay, well, not getting much protesting, so maybe we'll have you walk to get Muscle Sheep stretch his leg.
He gets his walkies.
Yeah, group walkies, in fact.
Yay.
Do we all get a leash?
You have a 4-pronged leash on him.
Or when he
Which
gets
is
too excited?
probably the bare minimum it would take to stop him from chasing a squirrel.
Exactly.
So you follow her instructions, making your way to some slightly more rundown part of the Halcyon City downtown. Maybe where the nightlife is, maybe where the nightlife hides in the back alley kind of way. Muscle Sheep has to stop and gawk at every storefront that you go by because there's shinies and people in the windows, and that's rad. Maybe even sniff at an old lady. What do you think?
Kinds of stuff.
Hey, Richter. Maybe.
It's a ghost.
I guess maybe it is.
It must.
Well, in the meantime, you guys do follow this sort of out of the way instructions, you'll eventually come to your third weird alley interchange next to a dumpster, and you'll come to what really shouldn't be there in an alleyway by a dumpster, a telephone booth.
This is suspicious.
Is it a
All-
blue police box?
Oh, shut up.
More like an old American red one from old comics.
It's almost definitely a red one.
Do I smell anything inside of it?
Just using your normal dog powers, not stressing them any, you're able to heighten your sense of smell, and well, it's not pleasant. There's a dumpster right there that probably hasn't been emptied at least this month. But
Oh,
other than that,
gross.
I mean, I might be interested in the dumpster.
you want to go sniffing around in it?
Bad dog.
Why not? I'm a dog.
You'll
No,
have to
bad
get yourself
dog.
a bath if you do this.
Did someone bring a newspaper?
It is my main form of food, so
You rip it open and go looking around in there, and yeah, there's some food scraps and a lot of newspapers and different food trash. Hey, maybe some of Titania's shit can go in here. It would be in good company. But that might be is that a duffel bag?
duffel bag. There's sometimes food in those.
Pull it out, and there's this nice green, actually fairly high quality duffel bag that doesn't look like it belongs in a dumpster.
Bah, useless. I'm gonna throw it out of the dumpster and continue looking around for food scraps.
Is that important?
Him, but might be to us, maybe?
Anyone close enough to where it lands might have heard it clink as it hit the ground.
Oh. There's something in there.
I'm too busy searching for food.
Not a dead body from the sound of it.
Or if it's like a bunch of needles or something.
Maybe.
You just stick your hand in, like, oh, there you go. Hand pricked by needles.
You now have all of the diseases.
Yeah, I guess I'll risk it. I'm gonna check what's in there.
Well, as you pick it up, you notice that it was not, but now is wet, and there's something dripping from the bottom of it. Do you still want to open?
Worse. How do you? Do you open it from the top so I technically don't have to touch the wetness?
Yeah.
I'll lean my head back and carefully open it from the top.
The overwhelming smell of chlorine hits your senses.
Oh,
And as you bring it, maybe down from your outstretched arms and eventually look in that, you've seen a bag a lot like this, actually. There's lots of these weird vials and test tubes in it, and looks like a lot of them broke when Muscle Sheep threw it.
I don't know anything about chemistry, so I'm going to show it to Jalem.
Hi, what's been going on? Why did she just throw this?
It was in the garbage.
And why are you handing it to me?
That's a good question. Because maybe you'd recognize something about it. I don't know. And I just like drop it on the ground. Like, either way, this place is weird.
Yeah, I can smell the chlorine.
When you drop it, the last maybe 2 or 3 vials shatter.
Oh.
Good job.
Oops. I thought they were all broken.
Yeah,
Did you
most
at
of
least
them
look?
were.
Did you open the bag, take a peek?
Well, I opened it enough to smell it.
Ugh.
If you use the tip of your shoe to kind of pry open the fold of it, Jalem, lots of broken glass, really bad smell of chlorine, and a little tiny sliver of gold that is rapidly fading into the fabric of the bag.
What the? No, crap. Like, Jilem's actually going to like stick her hand into her sleeves and see like she can grab that whatever gold is, or is it a stain?
You can grab it, probably gonna poke your fingers a bit on some glass. It's gonna probably leave a few cuts. That's smart, because, ooh, chlorine. But
Yeah.
you pull out a rapidly crumbling, rapidly kind of dissolving, dissipating bit of a crystal, which is familiar to you in Void Spawn, as you just made it in your lab the other.
Yeah. And like she'll actually like, is Void here?
Mm-hmm.
And she'll like call Void over like, hey, this looks familiar, right? And she'll show it to him.
Yes, it seems perhaps this facility is the source of those chemicals.
And so what Juan wasn't doing wasn't throwing it in there, he was destroying evidence.
Sounds like a good place to catch you up a little bit here, Richter.
Mhm.
It's been a couple nights since the last time that the comic ran. A few things have happened, which we'll get to here sequentially. Emily will have walked into your room maybe the next day, and she comes bearing a present for you, doesn't she, Emily?
Oh dear.
She'll bring her the school uniform that my dad's had bought for Jellum to wear to go to school with her, so she'll, quote unquote, stop skulking around the house with her weird experiments, unquote.
She would have just looked at the experiment, looked at Emily like, ha ha ha, you're funny. You're not laughing.
If you want to stay in my house, you're gonna have to enroll in school, they said.
But I already graduated.
I know. God. Pretend, maybe, for me.
Fine.
What does your school uniform look like, Emily?
God. Well. Even or odd, Jellum?
Even.
Their school uniforms are those, really bad, like, Catholic school uniforms of the big polos and khaki pants and, like, at least that was how the Catholic schools were where I grew up, but really
God.
unattractive to anybody wearing them. Just like gross and
Puritan.
yes.
Oh
Jim
gosh.
just like
Long
why?
skirts.
To alter this the moment I get, the chance I get, right?
I think anybody actually wears them the way they buy them.
Alright, just so we're clear.
What's the primary color that your school would use?
Blue.
It's a nice blue top with maybe a gray pleated skirt.
Sure.
Jim just has this look of disgust. Like, why?
At least they got rid of the ties, right?
Jilem's brow would just be twitching.
It could be worse.
What could be worse than this?
Okay, other than that, you will have at some point gotten a text message from your former boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
He will have given you a bit of information, kind of following up on what you guys had talked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
He knows a place, a Parasol facility, that you could get into and disable that pesky tracking that Belladonna has on.
Okay. That's
Just
very much appreciated.
two big issues with it. It's
Mhm.
not a Belladonna facility. It's a Dr. Young facility.
Oh.
And the secondary problem is they've really heightened security in the area recently because it's one of the few like mini outlying test sites that hasn't been hit by those vandals, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes sense that they'd be cautious.
You grouped back up with your friends in your next meeting time and shared that information, which is what led you guys to this side of downtown back alley with a weirdly out of place phone booth and a dumpster that had that duffel bag.
Mm. Okay. But yeah, she's not all too pleased with having the prospect of having to go back.
It seems that her dads didn't appreciate you becoming a lab gremlin in one of their rooms.
I contribute. I think. I do, right?
Define contribute.
I help around the house.
What
She
chores
gives
do
the
you
gardeners
do?
things to do.
Oh.
And by house, mainly the garden.
There have been no lawn pests as long as you've been there.
Yeah, see, I maintain that place.
But yes, the golden little crystal in your hand, and you've got it between your thumb and forefinger, are it's rapidly falling apart as it's exposed to the air.
Hmm. God damn it! I was thinking we could save this. Oh well.
Muscle Sheep, you uncovered like the absolutely dankest little bit of a drumstick bone left in the garbage.
I don't think that'll even be enough for a muscle shield.
Don't know, but maybe it makes him happy. Okay.
Oh gosh, I was muted this whole time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That Food! Nom 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 nom.
It's crunchy and not super
It's crunchy
tasty.
and munchy, and I mean, it's food.
True, you're a dog. You don't have super high standards.
You assume this because I'm a dog. But you would be wrong.
Not a lot else in this alleyway. Maybe, the normal amount of graffiti, maybe. It's just that weird phone booth.
Who wants
Like,
to
were
go
there-
in it?
I'll do it.
It's a standard red, looks like it could be a New York City phone booth, just in this back alley.
I'm gonna record it on my phone just in case it's like some prank phone booth. Like something funny happens.
And like, she'll go in and she'll see highlight whip out his phone. Like, no, put that away.
Fine, I'll put it away.
And she'll actually watch to see you put it away.
It's in my pocket. It's going in.
Guys, can you make sure he doesn't pull out his phone, please?
Just do the same thing I did before and break his phone intentionally.
No, don't do it. I'll keep it.
Infinite zoom.
She can hold it for you.
No more infinite zoom.
Muscle Sheep is delighted by Candy Crush Saga for a few minutes.
I was thinking more of it being just a chew toy.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
No one is allowed to hold my phone.
You bring out your backup phone, like this flip phone that you use a decoy.
My Nokia.
Yeah, a Nokia is actually a fitting chew toy for Muscle Sheep.
Oh
I
god.
can't break it, no matter how hard I chew.
You can
But
play Snake on it.
You get into the phone booth, Jalem, and there's no phone. Like, you know how it connects via this like cable that's seemingly been torn away. There's just the dial box on.
Mm-hmm.
You look around. You gonna press a button? Maybe try and get it to dial.
Like, yeah, she'll like attempt to like hit. There's no dial tone, you said, right?
Not that you hear.
Like, she'll just like, did Julius give her a number?
He didn't. He just gave you a destination.
And feeling incredibly silly, she'll just like hit in the numbers for Young.
From the moment you hit the first button, a out of place, seemingly ripped from some Jack in the Box of Nightmares giggle plays out of the receiver, and you all can hear it. It's decently loud.
Oh, that's upsetting.
The keys on the phone booth seemingly flip inward. They rotate like a revolving door, and it stops 180 degrees and shows you the other side of that apparatus, which is a digital screen. And what's on the digital screen is this.
Okay. I cannot tell what that is.
If we are going to attempt to infiltrate this facility, there is someone I need to bring with us.
Who?
A friend.
Alright.
So are you gonna leave this weird LED screen and take a detour?
I can handle it on my own if the group doesn't want to come with me.
You can stay and try and figure this out.
I mean, that's what Jalem's gonna try to do, because she's never seen anything like this, and now it's bugging her.
Actually, anyone want to accompany Void Spawn?
I'll go. It sounds interesting and not boring like waiting.
Okay, so Highlight and Void Spawn depart. And I'm assuming you're heading towards Titania's apartment.
Yes.
So you'll quickly arrive. This actually isn't terribly far from Titania's place. You have to get a little bit more into the poorish areas of town, but you'll quickly find it. And surface or below?
I'd go through the surface entrance, since I imagine I would probably meet a lot of resistance trying to get Highlight to go into the sewers.
Oh, I forgot that's how you get there, huh?
Yeah. As you approach this condemned apartment building, though, you are getting the deja vu highlight. You were here a long time ago, or maybe not that long. I think flat time moves fast when you're a celebrity.
When was I here?
This was on the night when you guys were last invited to go to the H2A.
Oh, okay. Right. Huh.
Yes, I believe that was our 4th visit.
It's definitely been a lot.
I haven't been keeping
Somewhere
track.
in the distance in the city. 4.
Oh no. He heard it.
He always hears it. You'll eventually get in there. Highlight, are you going to follow him into this really creaky looking ladder that goes down a trap door, or are you going to wait up top?
What's down there? I mean, I know as the player, but Highlight would be asking Void Spawn.
Nothing important. It is just where this friend lives.
I'll keep watch.
And I'll head down and I guess knock on the back of the bookshelf.
You'll have to knock, and a few seconds go by. Half a minute, you knock again, and only then do you hear someone like curse under their breath, get up, and start moving it. You'll see Titania. She's cleaned up a little bit, but she's still looking a bit grubby.
Have I caught you at a bad time?
Oh, my whole life's kind of a bad time, but no, I mean, what are you doing?
Well, that information you mentioned has come into our possession. We are investigating the facility now.
Oh God, thank goodness. I wasn't sure if it was gonna take forever and she's already running around the apartment picking a few things up. You politely turn your head and look at the bookcase as she throws her t-shirt off over her shoulders and changes into something slightly better. But eventually,
Slightly what? You cut off at the end there.
Slightly better looking.
Ah, okay.
And after a few seconds running around like a chicken with her head cut off, she'll stand in front of you, seemingly more ready for action. Well, are you gonna take me? Where are you guys going? I wasn't able to see where, but I thought it was somewhere dangerous.
Yes, I suspect it will be dangerous. Do you have powers that can help you defend yourself?
She looks at you askance and says, it's like I said, just trust me, Void. I'm not gonna tell you everything.
If not, one of my allies has a firearm. I can perhaps convince her to loan you.
God.
I thought you guys were. She like leans in, like, aren't you guys the good guys? I didn't think good guys carried guns.
She's a special case.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not going to. I guess I'll hold it, but I've never. Eh.
Hopefully you won't need to use it, but I would feel more comfortable if you had the means to defend yourself if none of us can come to help if something goes wrong.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want to get you in any trouble or be a burden, but I promise everything should go okay. I know that we'll at least get to see him.
Duly noted. Well, if there's nothing else, I'd lead her back up to meet with Highlight and head on our way.
Yeah. After a few minutes, highlight, you'll hear clump, clump, clump as Void Spawn climbs back up out of the trap door, and shortly after him comes this young woman, 16, 17, platinum blonde hair, really pretty, but a little like gone scruffy, like someone stopped taking care of her recently.
Oh no. I'll just look at Boyd like I don't even know what to say. I thought you were just raising a cat in secret. But your friend is a girl?
Does her gender signify something?
No, I'm just surprised it's a human.
She looks at you and sticks her tongue out and brings one hand and does a cat paw motion at you.
Okay, that's better. That really helps sustain my belief. How did you two meet?
Void
you
here's
not-
been feeding me.
I'll just look at Void Spawn. What does she mean by that?
Oh my god.
Shush, you're not there. It is as she said. Perhaps, as you put it, it is a bit like feeding a stray cat.
So, what we don't see in another panel that's drawn up to the side but heavily mosaicked is Highlight's imagination.
Save
You'll
that
go
for
there
the
for like a
fanfiction
second.
writers.
That's gonna go on Highlight's AO3 account.
Oh my god.
Okay. Panel changing. Jalim, any thoughts on this LED screen?
I mean, I'm looking at the basic moves here. I mean, I could try to assess what this is, but it's like she's looking at it, she's looking at it. I wouldn't even know what to ask here. Like, because the questions that are here would just like break the puzzle entirely, but like there's no discernible pattern to these. And like she's just looking at this, looks at the other, like, do you have any idea what this is? Because even I'm stumped.
So Emily and Muscle Sheep should still be there, and they can also see this screen.
What are we looking at?
This digital mosaic screen.
Oh yeah, that. Okay.
Yeah, like she has no idea what the Jillian has like actually confused. So, do you have any idea what this is? 'Cause I am lost.
I'm going to sniff it.
You sniff it. You will push one of your snoot will actually contact this screen here. And it's going to flash and wait. It'll turn a slightly brighter color and wait for a second until you do something else.
Is this a puzzle?
Is it flashing?
It remains a solid color. How are you going to touch it within the next second?
No.
Eventually, it will start to blink and then eventually go back dull.
I'm going to press it again.
Again, it will light up. We'll wait.
When it lights out, I'm going to paw at it like a cat, trying to grab a laser thing.
You paw at it the first time. One yellow dot appears in the center. Second time, that yellow dot goes away and a second dot comes.
Clearly, this is a new toy that must be played with.
Oh God.
Each time you paw at that one, it just keeps cycling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can push other squares; they similarly light up and let you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is the best day. I'm going to continue to press buttons.
Emily, Jalim, either he's a genius or he's as dumb as he looks, but Muscle Sheep is just playing all over this.
I don't think that's how that works. Hey, you might. Oh dear.
Press, 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 press.
And like she'll look up to, like the phone booth, like if she can like spot a camera or something. And if she does see one, she'll what she thinks is one. She'll just say, "Look, he's just gonna keep going at this. So I apologize in advance if he breaks anything."
You look around and you don't see any visible cameras, but you still say this into the open air, and even as you finish saying it, Muscle Sheep still pawing at it, you again hear that Jack in the Box slap.
Okay, is that really necessary?
Yeah, that makes me really uncomfortable. Why is it doing that?
It's fun to someone, I suppose.
Okay, so other than Muscle Sheep playing with it, are you guys just gonna leave him to his fun?
Yeah, I'm just gonna let him have fun.
I'll clarify a little bit more as you're messing around with basically tapping all the buttons. Any square you push glows, lets you keep tapping to get any number between 1 and 6, and only when you leave it alone does it then fade back away to this dull color, and the number will stay. They all work like all the blank squares work like that. You can't change the ones that already have dots in them.
You're saying I can't change the ones that have dots in them?
Correct.
Okay, some of these have weird half circles. Are they supposed to be half circles or are they supposed to be dots?
They're all dots. This is a very pixelated screen, but
Okay.
essentially they're dots.
All right. Well, I have figured out the puzzle. Muscle Sheep has not. So, you guys have fun with that.
He's just gonna keep pressing it.
I'm just gonna keep pressing buttons because it's fun.
If you leave him to play, eventually we'll get a nice comic panel of the sun sinking lower into the sky. Noticeable.
Oh,
But eventually Void Spawn, Highlight, and a girl question mark will eventually rejoin.
Who's this?
no. Void Spawn's pet.
She turns to Void. So who's this?
My pet, apparently. A friend of mine, though.
Seriously, Highlight, get your head out of the damn gutter.
I don't mean
She'll-
anything bad by it.
We are
She-
currently all standing in a gutter.
Turn a
Exactly.
phrase. Turn a phrase. I'll teach it to you later. But, Miss
Titania.
Titania. Jalem, pleasure. And she'll extend a hand.
She'll shake it and kind of shrug. It might be.
Also, hey, Sheeb, stop playing with it.
Sheep
I see
continues to play
you
with it.
have. I see you have waited for us to return before trying to solve the puzzle.
Well, I think Sheeb is onto something, but he's just having fun right now. Sheeb, let us try and solve it.
Boop 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 beep, boop 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 boop.
I'll buy you a steak.
I don't think Sheep knows what a steak is.
I'll buy you food.
Food?
Yes. Come
He's
on.
gonna let the
He's gonna what?
hold on. I'm chatting up with Rin for a second here.
Yeah, we're trying to see, does Muscle Sheep actually want to like try and make a concerted effort with this, or is he just randomly pushing?
Well, he told me to stop messing with it, so in my mind he's like, okay, and then he solves it. Like, I can solve it for you if you want me to. Because Muscle Sheep may not know how to speak well, but he does
can
know how
think.
to count.
So then
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm still buying you that food.
Players have the draw tool, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and freehand draw. Just pick a color that's not the yellow and try and solve it. You can do numbers or dots, whatever one works
Okay.
easier for.
I'll work on that while you guys are arguing.
Can you give listeners who don't have the screen capture and what's going on? Like what's on the screen and what we're solving, potentially?
If you take a screenshot and just slam it onto the stream,
I can do that.
or we could just
Effort.
describe it.
Was this supposed to be a Sudoku puzzle?
That's what I was thinking. Is it a 3x3 Sudoku, baby?
It's a 6x6.
Oh god.
I'm trying to brain here for a moment, and it's not working because I'm not all here.
Oh, okay. Are the lines in each box their respective number?
Yeah. That's what I'm getting.
It
I
seems
should
like
not
you
have.
got.
I should not have spearheaded this.
Wait, who drew the
Too
blue?
late.
Me.
Because the blue already
Go ahead
had.
and
I know
Oh.
I'm filling
Yeah,
them in,
she's
so they're.
filling them out so I don't have to count.
Okay.
It sounds like the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. So you guys know what you're doing.
Well, you told him to quit messing around, so he's like, okay, and then he just like counts. He just like stares at it for a moment. And you guys aren't entirely sure what he's doing, but then he starts pressing the buttons again. So let's see. I need a 3 and a 6 in there. You've already got a 6, so you need 3. You need 6.
It's
Meanwhile,
fun.
Void Spawn asks Jalem if Titania can borrow her gun.
Oh no, not the gun. I thought we
Which one?
confiscated that.
Which one?
You have more than one?
Yeah?
Whichever you prefer, something to help her defend herself.
And she'll hand Titania the lighter of her pistols.
She'll take it very not trying to be sexist at all, but very daintily kind of holding it improperly away from her body, like she doesn't want to touch it. And thanks, I guess.
You know how to aim it, right?
I mean, I can point at people.
And she'll give Titania like a quick, like if you never hold on to it, be sure to hold your arm steady because there is going to be kickback. And
Don't lock your elbow.
yeah.
So basically, what these few panels will look like is while Titania, Void, and Jalim are kind of doing their thing with Jalim kind of drilling a very unwilling Titania on proper firearm procedure. Muscle Sheep, when he was told to stop pawing at it, it's crazy. Like half the empty boxes were actually dulled, but would not turn on again. Like he'd put the right number in accidentally, and he just looks around like, oh well, there's only like 3 or 4 missing, and he just go ahead and finishes it real quick while you guys aren't even looking at him.
Wow. Kind of wish I captured that.
And what, so like she will just pop up, done.
Be like,
And Jill will go, wait, what are you doing? It was a
I'm done.
Sudoku puzzle?
what's a Sudoku?
It's when you no longer have honor anymore and must take your own life.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, it is. Also, I'm buying you food later. Remind me.
I win.
Muscle Sheep, your tail wags happily. I don't think anyone on the team has said they've done it yet, but you almost feel a spiritual hand patting your head because you're a good boy.
Oh, I didn't know we were allowed to.
Do we have permission to pat the head?
Oh, you always have permission to pat the head.
Okay.
Everyone will
We'll
go
give you
pat the
head pat.
head aggressively all
Yeah.
together.
Nice group head pat panel there. When the last number had been entered properly, the entire screen brightens to that brighter color of green. Then it all goes gold uniformly, and then dark as it rotates again out to the dial pad. The Jack in the Box laugh sounds again, and out from the bottom shoots a phone. The receiver just shoots out from the broken cord.
Did it catch some air? Like, has it left the ground or whatever's holding it?
I would say like it came out and it's still in the air slightly for a panel.
Then yes, I am grabbing it in my mouth.
You grab it in the mouth almost reactively. It didn't even have a chance, really. And you hear through both ends of the receiver just a pleasant female voice that says, "Welcome to Parasol Laboratory."
Morph?
Oh.
And you, as the only one currently standing in the phone booth, are greeted with the floor of the phone booth falling out from under.
Like, Jillian will die after him. Like,
We
no,
get,
no, no.
we get a nice vertical BOOOOORF emo as
Perfect.
as Muscle Sheep falls down the trapdoor. Does everyone spring after him?
Like, Jillian immediately dives after him.
I want to go last just in case, so I have a cushion in case it's hard.
Oh my god.
You going
Why do
ahead
we
and
keep you around?
That's a good question.
I would make sure that Titania gets in safely, and I would follow after her.
you help her sit down and, kind of oh, that's a good word for it, slide, because as the trap door opened up, it empties out into a slide that goes quite a ways down.
I can imagine Muzzle Sheep is like clawing furiously on the slide trying to get traction.
Oh god, if he manages to get traction and stops halfway down, we're all just gonna slam into him.
Oh, God. So, like, yeah, that's what Jillian's actually gonna run into him first.
Yeah, probably. We get some nice action screens there of lots of people moving very fast and making very unattractive faces, getting smashed together on this slide that's probably too small for Muscle Sheep.
Morph?
Oh,
Eventually,
ow.
eventually, the last person gets in. The door seemed to wait for people to stop using it, so just as you're finally getting down in their highlight, it deigns to snap shut.
Oof. Where
It
are
will
we?
It will lead you down quite a ways. You're sliding for a good 60 seconds or so, and around you is a solid tube of stone. It's not like an empty cavern or anything, but it eventually starts to level out, plane out, and you shoot off the end and into water.
No. Like how deep?
Let's see, you absolutely cannonball, correct, Muscle Sheep?
I'm probably more like flayed into the water.
High speed belly flop.
Well, the skadoosh is heard around the world as you dip down into the water quite forcefully. You manage to maybe scrape the bottom of this pool. Most of the rest of you don't, but it is well over your head.
I'm gonna start doggy paddle.
And
You,
Jillian will just, like, find her way on Muscle Sheep's back and just, like, pull herself on top of it, like, ugh. Ugh. Well, this is a way of doing things.
after you guys all eventually manage to drag yourself onto the only solid land you really see, there's this the far wall of this underground room question mark. You pull yourselves up, shake your hair out, Muzzle Sheep quite literally, and start to dry off.
By the
Who-
way, Jilem, just a casual observation, probably not too important, but I noticed with that puzzle, the color scheme was green and gold, and in that bag were the gold chemical and chlorine, a green chemical.
So do you mean we should have just splashed or
You
something?
trailed off there at the end.
So do you mean to say we should have splashed the chlorine on that or something?
No, just that there seems to be a running theme, so this probably is the facility that produces the gold chemical.
Probably. Oh dear.
And that's bad?
Not entirely sure what they hope to accomplish with it yet, but if
Right.
they're putting it in the water supply, probably bad.
Yeah.
Water supply makes that word hangs in the air, and it would be in its own text box, so to speak, as you look around your environment. And I was gonna say, would anyone in this team have any knowledge of urban design, structure, what's underneath the city?
Urban planning?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Would I have learned about it in the plant?
That's a fair point. You were definitely given a tour, and I'm sure they told you lots of things about their job, because who fucking cares what water treatment plant people? This looks a lot like, and yeah, you see a few waterways that lead out of this room. This is a reservoir, one of the underground water holdings for the city that gets pumped up to the streets above.
Hmm.
Curious if they have access within their own lab, why the dumps into the water treatment facility?
Maybe people aren't supposed to go down this slide.
You would also know, highlight that Halcyon City is decently big. There's a pretty decent vascular system, so to speak, of
Bless you.
Bless him.
Laius. As in, there's lots of different routes of water. You could put chemicals in one spot that might not circulate everywhere.
Ah, okay. But I'll let everyone know my idea about how we're in one of the reservoirs.
Coughing
Anyway.
and spluttering a bit, Titania will shake some water off and say, "Yeah, I live underground. That seems about right."
Wait, you live underground? Why?
Well, I mean, I didn't pick it. Marrow did, but I mean, it's safe.
Wait, you know Marrow?
Yes. Did Void not tell you guys why I'm here?
Pointed look at Void
I
Spawn.
figured to. I would leave that to your discretion. I did not want to speak on your behalf.
Well, at least you leave the lady an option of chance. But I'm Marrow's partner, and you guys are the ones that put him behind bars. Void's been looking after me since he went away.
Does that mean you're a villain?
She
What?
looks angrily at you? No, and neither was Marrow.
Mm-hmm. Kinda weird though, since he's wanted.
You really don't believe in the concept of wrong place at wrong time, do you?
Just saying. Just saying.
She'll turn to Titania. Ignore him. We all do.
Yeah, well, doesn't seem like it'd be very hard. Okay, so you guys are on this opposite kind of the solid ground to stand on of this reservoir, and on the concrete block wall behind you that makes up this sort of tunnel, there's another door opposite you. Another key card LED screen access.
Dylan will actually pull her hand through her pocket, ruffle, and she'll pull out her old Parasol ID card. Still works. She'll walk up to it and just like scan the card.
You scan it, it beeps, and golden letters will again float up and display a message that says, "We're sorry, Jalim." Well, do you have a?
Yeah.
We're sorry, Man Bavarian, comma Jalim. You have not been assigned to this facility.
Yeah, figured it wouldn't work. And then she'll look around like there's like any intercom or something.
There is not. No intercom. There is a single light above the door that's providing illumination for you guys. The door is pretty seamless metal, but there is a small gap of glass window at the very bottom of the door.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I sniff it?
You can definitely get down there and sniff it and try and look through, doing your dog thing. You see the bottom 6 inches of a hallway leading out of there, and padding across the way some dog feet.
If we were to break this glass, I could slip through to the other side and attempt to open the door from within.
Can you shapeshift into something that can squeeze in there?
Easily, but not with the glass in the way.
There's no.
I can help.
Shade,
Muscle
can
Sheep
you?
help?
Yeah, can you get your fingers under there? See if you can lift that.
I'm gonna punch the glass.
No.
Okay. The glass is, thankfully for them, maybe even thankfully for you, decently reinforced, very solid glass. But go ahead and roll to engage a threat directly.
Borf.
As you engage this very directly.
Borf.
Okay. Even with a 1 on one of those dice, that's a good hit there.
I got lucky.
So the window's not gonna strike back, so you don't have to worry about that. But not being a full hit, the strike is gonna hurt a bit. This window was really reinforced. That must be some like not glass, maybe like that plastic stuff. But it does crack, it does break, and it doesn't make too much noise.
I'm sorry, I couldn't open it. Cheap sorry.
Well, it did break.
Wait, it did?
Yeah, he hit it. It's really hard and it hurt, but it did crack and break, and it didn't make too terribly much noise.
Alright, I will condense myself down and try to slip underneath to investigate the other side.
You squeeze in through the little gaps he's made in it. Thankfully, your form, being gooey and ditto-y, doesn't get cut by the jagged edges. Do you come back to your normal height once you're inside?
I'd peek around a bit, see if there's anybody that is in the area that may have heard the noise first before I return to normal.
What you see is a long hallway that's very straight, very empty, with just regularly placed lights in the ceiling going down. There's lots of doors to the left and right leading off the hallway, symmetrical, evenly spaced going down. And each of the doors has a pet door at the very bottom of it.
That's concerning. Any security cameras?
Not that you can see.
And I'd shift back to normal then and see if there's any buttons or switches I can press on the other side of the door to open.
There's not a open button or a handle on this side. There's another keycard scanner. There is an emergency button you could push that might force it open, but also might do other emergency things.
I will lean down towards the gap and relay that to the group before I go ahead and press things willy.
So you all hear that description. Well, is there anything you can do to open it without maybe tripping every alarm in the place?
I'm trying to think. And I don't have a laptop, so I can't exactly hack through it. Void's the only one who could potentially get by through a contact scan. Sheeb, I don't want him breaking anything. Emily can't really affect anything sound-wise, and Highlight can't do anything here.
I could attempt what I did with the water treatment plant, but I cannot promise it will work as well here. This place seems more fortified.
I see. I mean, I'd say try it, but I don't want you risking yourself unnecessarily like that.
Alright, I will try what I did the last time with the water treatment plant, use a mind of their own move to give myself the ability to hack into this thing.
Gotcha. You have to, if I remember correctly, mark a condition to do that?
Yes, and I'm going to say I'll take afraid because I'm worried about Titania.
It's a fair point. So you mark that condition. You bid your alien form to reveal a power you can't normally access and blend with this keycard area. Make me a freak roll to kind of represent this unleashing of your powers. And in case you didn't see it, Muscle Sheep, also make me a freak roll.
Alright, what am I making a freak roll for?
You'll see.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not entirely all here.
No
as
worries.
I mentioned before, so I apologize.
Before he started to blend with this key card, Muscle Sheep, you're looking through there at the very bottom. You're on your all fours looking around, and you heard Voidspawn's description of the pet doors throughout this area. You get a tug in your mind once again, and you almost hear the words legendary.
I'm going to Muscle Sheep is going to stand up, like his ears are going to perk up at this. And on the next comic panel page, maybe take up half a page, is like basically doing a JoJo pose with, like, heavy detail and heavy shadowing. And Muscle Sheep in a deep voice is going to say, "He's here."
What are you doing?
Orf? What?
Why are you posing like that?
I was posing? Muscle Sheep was standing here.
Right. I'm just gonna... Alright. No, it's fine, it's fine. She's just gonna walk away.
Everyone thought it's completely normal.
Highlight, that pose would have been top tier on Instagram.
I know. I'll have to take notes. Mental note for later.
Okay, Voidspawn, you blend with this keycard panel. You have a choice here. You understand its circuitry. You understand how you can flip the switch, so to speak, and make the door open. However, the security of this place is intense. If you try and force it to open without the security alarms going off, it's going to cost you physically. If you don't want to risk that, you can open it, but some alarms will go off. You might be able to mitigate some of the worst ones, but someone's going to know the door's been opened.
Well, I am going to be a good hero and take one for the team and risk whatever damage may be to prevent the alarms from going.
So roll to take a powerful blow. That's going to be 2d6 plus your conditions as you attempt to bypass it anyway, and the high voltage of this underground power system surges through you as you connect with this panel.
Oof, that's a hit.
So that means you have to choose one of these options to follow within the next scene. You can either lash out verbally at one of your teammates, you can give ground, and we'll interpret that as the scene goes on, or you can mark 2 conditions to struggle past it.
I think I'll go with give ground. Lashing out verbally kind of goes against the whole thing of taking one for the team in the first place, and I don't really want to risk taking 2 more conditions.
Very fair. So you succeed. You manage to do what you wanted to do. You become the bridge in this circuitry that lets the door swing open for the others. But God, that hurts. Even as an alien, I mean, the voltage that's pumping through you would probably kill you if you had human physiology.
I would just kind of, when the door opens or everyone else, I would just kind of be sitting there stunned and dazed for probably a good minute before I came to my senses again.
But the door is open for you guys.
Huh. Nice. And she'll go over to where Void is laying down. She'll just pick him up. Nice job.
That hurt more than I expected it would.
It sure sounded like it.
Titania frets over you and kind of like plucks at the end of your hairs, trying to like get rid of the smoke that's coming off some of.
He'll be fine. Give him a minute, he'll recover.
Just for comedy's sake, even though I am a shapeshifter, I would definitely have the Albert Einstein hair going on.
Nice.
Yeah,
Anyways.
Yeah, you all make it inside. I'm assuming you guys start to head down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, you're hanging kind of to the back. You're being a bit quiet. So maybe you're the last one to notice. As you guys start to really go down the hallway and no one's looking back anymore, the door, quietly as possible, as if on oiled hinges, slides back into place.
That's not good. You guys, the door just like shut behind us.
Oh, freaking wonderful.
Through an intercom system that you can't see at all, you hear a Jack-in-the-Box laugh.
Okay, seriously, that's upsetting. Is that necessary?
About three pairs of adjacent doors down the way, one of the pet doors slides open, and a Roomba comes out of it and goes to the next pet door.
Muscle Sheep versus Roomba, a fight for the century.
Oh no.
Down,
I don't know
boy.
what this is, but I don't like it.
Down.
Yeah, that was creepy. And there's something in your flesh that rejects a not fluffy animal using a pet door.
This is wrong.
Also, just the basic natural fact that the only predator of dog is vacuum cleaner.
Yes. I need to link something in Discord.
But otherwise, are you guys proceeding down the hall? You gonna check out any of these side rooms?
No.
Is the Roomba thing coming towards us?
So the hallway you guys are in is completely straight, but there's lots of T intersections. It came out from the left and went into the right, so to speak.
Okay. My hackles are raised as I keep watching.
It's doing the Scooby-Doo chase thing where it's going back and forth between different doors in the hallway.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's brilliant. I appreciate that.
I don't remember when I made that. It was just... I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, so straight ahead or detouring? What's the plan, guys?
I guess we're just gonna keep going straight ahead.
And our objective here is to gather information and to potentially disable whatever methods they are using to track you. I think exploring these rooms may be worth it.
Right, but like, if there's one thing I've learned, exploring, you're gonna end up taking something that you didn't intend to.
More friends?
It's not that we find more friends, like you take something that doesn't belong to you, and that's what I'm more worried about. She shoots a sideways glance to highlight.
I didn't take anything.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean you won't.
Valid.
See? Even he doesn't even do...
The only thing I have seen Highlight take is pictures of himself.
Yeah,
Ooh,
and
that was a good one.
I'd rather him not take any pictures while we're here.
I hold my hands up. My phone isn't in it. I'm like, see? Hadn't even brought it out.
Did you
Kept it
take
in
out
its
your phone?
waterproof waterproof pocket and too scared to take it out since.
Did you take it out just then?
Oh no, I haven't taken it out at all.
Okay.
But yeah. So we could go into the side rooms, but I don't see a way in other than the Roombas. And I don't think any of us can change size.
Are we still near the entrance? More or less? Where we came in?
You've gone one intersection down.
Okay, because I've got an idea.
What's your idea?
Muscle Sheep is going to run back around the corner. And anyone that can... Like, how far away is this? Like, 10 feet, 20 feet?
From what specifically?
From where the party is to where this entrance door thing is.
Did you guys came in from?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 10 feet.
Okay, so everyone would hear it. Muscle Sheep would be like, I have idea. And then he turns back around the corner, and about 5 seconds later, you hear this very distinct trickling of water.
Oh God!
It only lasts for like a couple seconds, and then he comes back. He says, okay, now we won't get lost.
Nobody ask. No one get details.
Why?
Now we won't get lost. She'd find way. Never
Here
lost.
I thought this was an attempt to lure the Roomba out.
What is Roomba?
You know those little things that kept entering the little doors? That's a Roomba.
Ah, so Roomba are demons.
You know, I don't even have the strength to argue with that anymore.
Don't worry, guys. I can get us out of here. In case we get lost.
Okay, so we proceed with confidence now down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, so it seemed like you guys wanted to go straight, but Void, maybe you wanted to look in through some of these side windows?
I'd peek in, but sticking with what Jillum said, I wouldn't actually open any of the doors. I'd just look inside to see if it seems like something useful to us might be in.
Okay, so you'll notice two things majorly. So a lot of these areas on this front wing, so to speak, are different laboratory spaces. The first thing you'll notice is that there are no laboratory scientists anywhere. You don't see another single living human being in any of these rooms. Places like vacant. The second thing you'll notice is that there's a weird variance in some of the rooms. Some of them have plants, almost like one of Jalim's experiments in them. Some of them have more standard test tubey chemistry stuff. Some of them have kennels and pet cages.
I would mention the plants to Jillum.
Angelic, alright. Well, if we ever get into trouble, I have something to draw on.
Do you get the sense that and Voidspawn kind of pauses here and says, do you trust your contact?
I mean, we are close. We did date after all.
Between the mysterious laughing, the lack of scientists here, I can't help but feel that this is perhaps a trap.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be wrong. I haven't shaken that either, but apparently Dr. Young is a bit eccentric. Apparently.
You personally don't know a lot about Dr. Young. You've never met him, but in everything you have heard, that would be a very, very good statement to make. Belladonna is cruel but efficient. Dr. Young is... he takes the quack psychiatrist thing to like the next level.
Oh dear.
But unless
Look
you
out,
guys,
he's got a chase lounge.
unless you guys make any detours to the side, you'll eventually finish out this hallway. There'll be a door now, straight. If you open that and enter, you'll come into a much bigger open room, circular, with a giant pillar of machinery, like a steam coming out of it, like a central area, but this really wide circular room with different doorways leading out every 90-degree angle, 45-degree angle around the room, like spokes in a wheel.
Huh. This is weird.
What will mainly catch your eye as you enter this room is that a doorway, not opposite, but in the other vicinity of the room, will open, and out will come a youngish looking female, maybe, possibly, wearing a pink bike suit, kind of like a motorcycle outfit, and a helmet.
Oh, we know her.
You do?
Yeah, we saw her at the HQ.
Was that just you and me, Highlight?
Yeah.
I bumped into her as well, but I don't think I would recognize the helmet. I don't think she was wearing.
I think she had taken it off when you saw her.
Yeah, but it was just Emily and I who talked to her.
Correct.
Yeah, I just literally ran into her, and that was it.
But yeah, she's in the room, but she enters running.
Oh.
The room
Like
is
in fear?
the room is probably a good maybe half a football field across. But as she comes running out of this doorway, you hear her shout behind you or behind her, like, "Just keep running! Don't try and fight all of them. We've got to find him."
This is concerning.
I'll wave to her. I think we're friends.
She sees you and kind of changes direction, kind of heading your way. She's not even halfway through the room yet before out of the door comes a dark colored young person, leather jacket, hood. You can't quite see their face, but they're running pell-mell, and slightly behind them comes out guards and armed in the traditional parasol attire.
We have
You
company
guys do.
now.
And then she remembers Julie's words that there was security here due to this is the only one that it hasn't been struck yet. Like, huh. Well. Thankfully there's plants nearby.
Any first actions here before shit gets crazy?
Jilem is actually going to reach out to the plants that Void had pointed out to her. And actually command them as golems to come to get in here and get them.
And Void is going to attempt to close the gap between these new allies, ? And try to position himself between them and the guards.
Muscle Sheep is going to go on all fours, his hackles raised, and start growling angrily.
I don't have anything special to get ready, but I'm ready.
Emily?
Ready.
Did you have anything you wanted to start up, or?
Not that I can think of.
Okie dokie. So, roll to unleash your powers, Jillin.
Okay.
But, Azur, Void Spawn, you, are, just to be clear, are you getting between, Pinky and Blackie, or between Blackie and, the guard?
Blackie and the guards. I'm gonna try and just like make myself a big shield to I don't know if they've got guns or what, but to try and protect them from being shot in the back while they're running away.
Cursory inspection, you don't see firearms. You do see, these weird glowing, I don't know, what's Parasol's color? Maybe, oh, okay, they're gold. These weird glowy gold batons they've got. Some of them do have maybe like a crossbow looking Nerf gun thing that also has glowy golden stuff on it.
So chemical guns.
But okay, so you run past these two figures. Pink one doesn't even really deign to speak to you. The black one does see you running by, and he shouts in a voice and says, "Don't let them touch you." Essentially, you run past him. You become this big. You expand your gray form to be this wall, and the guards kind of pause, but then start to point their weapons at you.
I don't think you want to get shot by those.
Jalim, you reach out with your powers, and they are a little farther away, but that doesn't account for this. You feel a resistance from these plants. Like they don't want to listen. No, they don't want to listen to you.
Well, this is odd.
You could try and force them with your own will, but you might have to strain yourself and mark a condition to do.
So she's actually going to do exactly that. And she's actually going to feel sorry that she had to do it. Like, sorry, but you need to listen to me right now. So she's just going to mark guilty.
Okay, that makes sense. You do have to have some respect for your coworkers, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they respond, but every second, every moment you're connected to these plants with your powers, you feel them like tugging at the reins. Like again, like something about them, they don't want to obey you specifically. But they come slowly down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So Muscle Sheep, did you wish to do anything, or anyone else?
I think Muscle Sheep is just taking up a defensive position, trying to protect his teammates. Hold the line, as it were.
Gotcha.
I'll keep an eye on Titania.
Indeed. What will happen then, as these guards sort of point their weapons at you, Void Spawn, the ones carrying the like Nerf gun type things point at you, and they pull their triggers. And what you hear is this really thick, like flump sound as something that's not quite liquid, not quite solid, like a non-Newtonian fluid, shoots out of them and tries to stick to you.
I'm trying to remember. I didn't have a reaction to the gold stuff that we created in the lab. It was when I tried to mix it with something else, right? With Jalem's specific formula.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the gold stuff was created when you mixed it with the green and blue vials that were in the bag, but the psychic assault, so to speak, happened when you put the serum in with.
Yeah, so my thinking in character is that this is just the gold stuff, and I didn't have a reaction to it when we handled it back in my lab, so I'm not worried about getting hit by it. Whether that changes in a second, I'll find out. But for now, I'm just going to attempt to, I guess, defend those two newcomers.
So have you all watched The Incredibles?
Yes.
Yes.
So you know that that scene when Mr. Incredible accesses the computer that has like this hero is being watched, this hero was terminated, and those wall defenses shot the black things that expanded on.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what happens. You're this big gray wall, but these gold foam things that stick to you start to spread and expand and kind of crawl up the wall like ivy.
What the hell?
Does anyone know what this stuff is?
No, but again, don't let it touch you.
By this point, the pink one has reached your group, and she's wrenching off her motorcycle helmet as she reaches you, letting the dirty straw-colored hair flop down onto her shoulders as she looks at you and says, "Is the door open that way? Please, we have to get out of here."
No, it locked up.
God, okay. Pick one then. We have to go. Don't let.
Don't let what?
That she just cut off.
Okay, I didn't know that was her or you.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she is very frantic, trying to look around and trying to pick a different way to go.
Oh. Sounds like we better get out of here then. Should we just pick a random door and go?
What would Highlight do?
Pick a random door and go, because we obviously can't go forward. We can't go the way we came because there's nowhere there.
So you're just picking one of the adjacent spokes of the wheel to yours, so to speak?
Mm-hmm.
And do the rest of you start to follow him except for Void?
I'll go, yeah.
Unless
if
anyone
we're
has any
going,
better ideas.
Muscle Sheep is following.
So you guys start to head that way towards this other door. Pink one is following you. Black one kind of turns on his trajectory to start following that way. About this time, the door you came from busts open. Your plant golems arrive, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at that moment that another helmet gets torn off. One of the guards, center of the pack, wielding a baton, pulls his helmet off and looks up at you in your wall form, Void Spawn. He's unnoticeable, normal looking 30-something brown haired male, but his eyes are bright gold as he looks up at you and speaks in a somewhat familiar voice and says, "Oh, we have 2 parties of rats here today. That's just wonderful."
Do I recognize the voice?
He's being pretty loud. You don't recognize it personally. Jalim, you do, because it spoke to you in a ship recently.
Yeah. And like, wait a minute. That's the who are you? And like, she'll just like stand in front of the group.
They come around Voidspawn's wall.
Yeah.
You kind of sidle around him. Some of the guards point their Nerf gun looking things at you. How you doing, Voidspawn? You still keeping the wall for?
I'm keeping the wall for him, but if it seems like this weird creepy vine stuff is gonna like start enveloping me completely, I am going to attempt to unleash my power negation powers to stop whatever it is that they're attempting to do.
Okay. You don't.
But I don't
have...
want to do that too soon. I want to save that.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second then. Jalim, you sidle around. Some of the guards point their guns at you. The lead figure levels his baton your direction and says, "Ah, Jalim, welcome. We've been expecting you for a while. I was surprised when you weren't with the first group of hoodlums."
Dr. Young, I presume?
Well, in the flesh.
So, this was a setup. I understand that now.
Well, whatever makes you think it was a setup, my dear.
No, had a friend call up, say, hey, you could help me get rid of Dr. Belladonna's tracking. Because she and I had a falling out. And now she wants me dead for some reason. You know, pop her up.
Oh, well. That must be one of the things she asked me to store. Our facility has been something of a storage unit recently. Only one not hit by hoodlums, you see. At least, until
Except those
tonight.
guys. Except those guys. We actually came to the door, so... Like, we didn't try to sneak in. We tried to get in legitimately.
Other group, as you open the door the highlight was heading to, you see another long hallway through it, like the one you came through, also totally devoid of people. But hey, there's a Roomba down.
Yeah,
I don't think those
pressing
mean.
all the wrong buttons. Are we still kind of running, or are we stopped and talking?
Last I heard, you guys were still kind of running.
Okay, if this Roomba's in our way, I'm going to run up and kick it.
Okay, roll to directly engage a threat.
Is this Roomba really a threat, though?
Watch me miss. Watch me miss.
Well, like the whole... Oh,
no!
God!
Fucking
You don't-
yeet that thing across the room, man.
Oh, oh, now I gotta Photoshop something.
Oh, God.
Emily, you're a high school student. You've been to a few football games, right? You know, you don't think you've ever seen one of your high school football players ever kick such a beautiful field.
Whoa. That's impressive.
We can get my dad to give him a uniform too.
Oh, God.
Okay, Jalim, so what was the last thing you had said to the doctor?
And she's like, well, so yeah, I was told to come here, and the thing is, we're not trying to be intruders. We actually came in through the front door. You know, that whole phone booth thing with the Sudoku puzzle.
Oh, did you like the extra security? That was my touch. I thought it was a good, a test.
Well, I mean,
Numbers are fun.
you're not there.
Oh.
Well, I
a
mean,
bit.
we had one of our party members just solve it by pushing buttons.
Oh, well, perhaps I'll have to expand it. Maybe 12 by 12 next, or 15 by 15. Oh, that would be exciting.
Why not 18 by 18? Or is that too much?
I mean, I want some of my scientists to get in. I mean, the code changes daily, you realize.
Ah, alright, that's fair. But yeah, so like my party and I weren't trying to intrude. We actually came in through the front door.
At,
So
a, at about this time, the ivy is getting uncomfortably close to covering you, Void Spawn.
Kind of like letting them think they have me in a corner. On the other hand, I don't want to let these things completely envelop me, so I'll go ahead and attempt to neutralize.
So the cool thing is, as you reach out with your powers, you thought it might be harder than it turned out to be. You thought you'd have to really push it, but whatever this foam vine thing is, it's really simple. You just have to like move that part of your mind that controls your powers, and instantly whatever energy was in this vine just drains away completely.
I'll just shift back into my normal humanoid form with a really smug expression on my face.
As you shift down, this foam sort of like cracks and flakes and starts to kind of come off you a bit. Not totally, but some, since you radically changed. And also at this time, Pink and Black have now caught up with you guys at the door. They're kind of hanging in this muddle at the gate. Pink whistles at the free throw that was just. And then Black catches up, and he turns and drops his hood and curses really loudly. Because that's Marrow, and he's looking at the people that put him in jail.
Which group is Titania with at the moment?
Well, I was watching her, so I think she's with me. Unless she stayed by you, which I don't think anyone would do.
No, I think you've got her pretty facing forward. For the sake of dramatic tension, you've got like kind of one arm on her shoulder, keeping her, trying to put her into the hallway. You see Marrow, she does.
She doesn't?
You're kind of like between them for dramatic irony.
Oh, this is awkward.
awkward.
What is he doing?
He saw y'all in cursed, and then he turns and looks at the pink one, and he says, "Why are they here, Neri? You said this was a normal mission." And she just like throws her hands up like, "Who is she? I don't know what the fuck the dog is doing here."
Borf?
And at that point, recognizing the voice, wrenching out of your arm, spinning around, Titania will lock eyes with Marrow and say, "Oh God, he's here," and just kind of pitch forward into your arms and kind of pass out a bit.
Mine?
Yeah, because you're still kind of holding her.
Oh no. Do you know her? And I'll like jiggle her in my arms a little bit.
He looks down, cocks his head a bit, and as you jiggle her and her face kind of turns up, he's like, he looked kind of pale. I mean, okay, he's always pale. He looked a bit paler than normal, seeing you guys, but his bloodshot eyes almost lose redness as he sees Titania there.
So I'm taking that as he's not the happiest to see her.
You'd get that impression as God damn it, Rick.
It's the best thing ever.
But you would get that impression as his hand comes up to his side and makes a fist, and he decks you on the
Jesus.
Why me?
as he
Do
shouts, "Why did you bring her here?"
I like touch my face to make sure everything is still intact.
That's not.
I don't even know her.
photogenic.
Not at all. My moneymaker. I didn't bring her here. My friend did.
They bruised your face.
That's gonna take so much concealer.
Oh, here, I
Okay.
thought you'd have like a Johnny Cage freak out.
Okay.
All the power of makeup.
Jalim and Void still talking to Dr. Young.
Yep.
You hear some shouting from your friends, but I mean, they've not stopped shouting since this started, so you don't really pick out anything special.
Mm-hmm.
As the doctor again kind of points the baton now at Void, and he kind of cocks his head, says, "Oh, Don, and it seems you neutralized it somehow. That was gonna be fun. You're such a potty poop."
Yes, well, it seems I've picked up a few tricks from our last encounter.
Yeah, his head cocks again harder in a way that kind of reminded you of the Observer a bit, as he says, "Have we met before, my friend?"
The description of your eyes gives you away a bit.
Oh, you were the one that touched the gemstone.
Yes, I suppose I was, if you want to call it a gem.
A gem crystal, a Jalim. I crack myself up. But really, why are you in my laboratory?
I came here on a lead that you could help me against Sago. I'm now realizing that this is not the case.
You thought that I could help you against Madame Belladonna? Why?
Yeah, because I had a confidant tell me that you could.
He kind of smacks his lips, purses them. It's an expression that doesn't suit the face that is before you, but why would I want to side with you over Belladonna?
Because I know I have a very good idea of what and how she thinks, and with that, you could elevate your own position for the company over her. Because I know there's a lot of people after her position.
Taps his chin, does this weird waving motion with one of his arms, which you don't take much stock of, but the guards do, apparently, as they open fire again, this time on Jalin.
But what the hell?
I will attempt to defend her if I can.
Okay, that's cool, because that's a basic move, so you can roll plus superior. Or no, sorry, savior.
Alright, here's hoping. Not a miss.
Okay, so you're going to have to expose yourself to danger. And here's where we're going to go back to that giving ground from your previous role. You succeed in defending her. You place yourself in front of her, literally like bending and becoming that wall again to cover her. And as you stretch, something in you that was hurt by the electricity flares up. As you are hit by multiple of these ivy bomb things that begin to grow over you, you protected Jalim, but are you going to be able to disable this thing's powers before they cover you? You're not sure. Okay, on to the other side then. I see that Ryukin stepped away for a moment, but Highlight, you just got punched. Emily, you just saw Highlight get punched. That probably made
What?
your night.
I mean, that's kind of rude, but
Yeah, I didn't do anything to ask for it that time.
Yeah, but have you not fantasized about punching Highlight yourself?
as often as Jellum, but probably, honestly.
He's just got such a smug chin.
It's just
So punchable.
Yeah.
Okay, but are you guys gonna do anything about it?
Well, he needs to explain himself.
Yeah, he's explaining
Buddy.
himself, still angrily trying to swing at you and repeating, "Why did you bring her?"
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna I'll keep explaining to him that it wasn't me who brought her here. I don't even know her. And what are you doing here, Mr. Wanted by literally everyone?
Yeah, Neri, the pink one, will pipe up and try and put a hand on Marrow's shoulder to calm him down and say, "Yeah, what are we doing here, Marrow? We have a job. We've got to find him and get him out of here." He grunts and looks over at anyone that's not Highlight. He will spy you, Emily. He'll point and say, "You watch her. If anything happens to her, I will tear out your bones. I promise."
Pointing at me?
Yeah.
You can get your bones torn out.
Oh, okay.
It's you, Muscle Sheep, and Highlight there with a now somewhat fainted Titania. He's mad at Highlight, and so you being the next best thing, he said you watch over and make sure nothing happens to Titania. But then Neri will, by his shoulder, lead him not through the door that you guys are going down, but the next Axel spoke. So are you guys going to chase after the terribly destroyed Roomba, or what is your course of action?
Us three?
Indeed.
Marrow and his two compadres, they ran off in a direction, right?
Marrow only has the pink motorcycle girl with him. Titania is still having the vapors, you get?
I thought you said there's one in black. There's one in pink and one in black, right?
The black one is Marrow.
Oh my god. Rest in peace. I totally misunderstood that. Okay, so they ran off. We're still here. Maybe we should help our friends who are stuck back there.
Dunno, Muscle Sheep, what do you want to do? You have vanquished your foe decisively.
I mean,
Can't
you're
really
gonna
go.
have to run it by me again, because one, I'm not all here, and two, I did just get up to get a drink.
Okay, so you yeeted the Roomba for
Yeah.
all you're worth. Still, for all you know, you're not looking, but Void Spawn and Jillim are still engaging the guards. You did watch as Marrow, who you remember as the guy that scratched your chest up that one time, punched Highlight, said, "Why did you bring Titania down here?" Told Emily to watch after her, and then left with the pink motorcycle chick.
So as current, I am not entirely sure what's going on as Muscle Sheep. So I'm just gonna kind of look over expectantly and be like, "What's going on?"
Let's just help our friends.
Okay. Muscle Sheep away!
Yeah,
So-
let's
Except
get
there's
them and
probably
then
not
bring
no
them
way
back
it's-
here.
All right, so you guys start heading towards your friends.
Oh, wait, I should put
Jillim.
Titania down.
Okay, yeah. Where are you leaving her?
Actually, is she not gonna wake up anytime soon? Like, hey, wake up! Like, start jiggling her.
Well, stop jiggling her first of all.
Wake up! I'm that desperate.
Okay, you put your hand to her forehead, type of thing. You're no doctor. Do you even have CPR training? Highlight.
Uh, sometimes I pretend I know how for commercials.
Yeah, terrible hero. So, you don't know medicine. You don't know when people wake up from fainting or whatever, but it's weird. If you had to put your finger on it, it's like she overexerted herself. Like she's tired. Is that seems to be the only thing wrong with her?
Oh, like she's asleep. Literally. Huh.
I like to imagine Highlight is treating her like the panicking woman in Airplane, just shaking her, slapping her face.
I wouldn't slap her, but yeah, everything.
Next person in line. No, you're doing it wrong. Start slapping her harder.
Just don't let Muscle Sheep slap her, knock her
Oh,
halfway
no
down the
one is
hall.
slapping Titania.
Okay. God, that Roomba thing is the best thing that's happened in this campaign. But you guys heading towards your friends. Jillim, you watched Void Spawn just cover your butt literally from the guards, but that's a lot of the foam stuff that's on him right now. That like he took like 20 shots.
So like everything just seems to slow down for Jilem. Like she just watches as Void takes all the shots, then goes down and doesn't seem to move, and then like she's just standing there staring, like she's not really comprehending what just happened.
The rest of the guards point their shooters at you. The hand waving from Young stops as he looks at you and says, "Gosh, you were frightfully boring to play with. I don't know how you ruined all these other labs, Jillim. Belladonna must be overestimating you."
And then at that, like, Jilem just like puts her hand through her pocket, pulls out her personal vial, and like while he's still talking, pops the cork and just chugs it all at once.
Gotcha. We'll get a good scene, a good panel there of just like how that gargoyle, the first one you met, there was that panel of the silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
Just a silhouette of Jalim with again that cracking effect, like a glass breaking. And the next panel, you are more in control of your powers than you've ever been. It feels like you could tell a tree to get up and tap dance, and it would do it.
Mm.
Those golems that have been kind of milling about, their reluctance feels like the reluctance of fleas when you pick them off a dog's hide.
Mm. And then like she actually like reaches out to them, and like before like she'd reach out to them with an open hand, but now she's reaching out with a.
I think you cut off at the end.
Oh. Am I coming in better?
Yeah.
So like normally when she calls upon plants, like her hands are open, like as if like she's reaching out to them. This time it's more like she's demanding that they follow her, and it's like her fist is closed and she's dragging them here.
Okay, about the same time that Muscle Sheep, you're gonna reach this little kerfuffle here. Are you trying to attack anyone, or are you gonna protect people? Muscle Sheep?
Sorry, I keep muting myself because I keep coughing.
Oh,
Who's currently
sorry.
fighting right now? What's happening?
Okay, Jalim just drank something. Not super sure. Void Spawn
Yeah.
is on the ground, almost being completely covered by this weird gold foam stuff. He's not struggling like you think he should be, but other than that, it's just all the guards with their guns trained on Jalim.
Okay, so all the guards are currently pointing at Jalem. She just drank this thing. Where is Emily? Is she there, or is she off with?
Emily,
She
did
was
you
with Highlight.
yeah, did you stay with Highlight, or are you following to help your friends? What are you doing?
I would have probably stayed with Highlight. The last time this happened, where we comforted somebody or got them to the ambulance a couple sessions back, he was on his phone a lot of the time, so I feel like he needs supervising.
That's fair assessment.
Okay, so is it just us three, or have our guests moved on already?
It's just you three. Your guests have now chosen and gone through a different passage, a different spoke of the
Okay.
wheat.
Then, as Jalem is drinking down this thing, I'm going to basically stand up on my hind legs, and just stand next to her. Like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's got that feel of I'm going to stand and fight, essentially. So I'm just gonna get up next to her and basically say, "I'm on your side. I'm with you. I'm here. I'm ready to help."
Nice heroic pose there as Jalim. They obey. The first plant golem you made rushes forward and faster than you normally can make them go, slams into Dr. Young. Throws him against the wall of the room. It's not as impressive as Muscle Sheep's kick, but it still probably really hurt a human being.
Mm.
Void Spawn, from your place on the ground, you're starting to recover a bit from whatever twinge of pain immobilized you. But what your feeling isn't suffocation. It's not even restraining. This stuff's not like hard to move in. You can set up if you want to. But as it crawls all over you, you feel your thoughts getting fuzzier and hard to reach for, like there's cotton in your head.
Since I have kind of a strange inkling about how Dr. Young works, I'm going to really try and not even worry about moving or struggling to fight to get these things off of me. I'm just going to focus on keeping my mind intact. I don't want him popping into my head again.
Can you roll to unleash your powers for me?
I will attempt to do that.
Okie dokie. So, you can mark a condition to attempt to disable the powers of this foam like you did previously.
I'm marking so many conditions.
And that's
I
the
am gonna
partial
go
success.
for. Yeah, I'm gonna go for. I think angry is appropriate in these circumstances.
I would agree. You do so. You're starting to feel like you're having a rough day, and that's kind of ticking you off. You've taken a few too many good blows today to be your normal composed self, but you start to neutralize whatever weird effect this foam is having, and it's better some of the cotton's going away, but you know if someone doesn't help you get out of this stuff before long, you won't be able to hold it off forever.
I will have faith in my allies then, for as best I can.
So, Jalim, that was a satisfying punch. Probably
And
too satisfying. The figure that Dr. Young, that's now collapsed on the ground, isn't moving. That probably broke some ribs.
and like as she's like stomping forward, and like she actually raises her foot, like commanding the golem to do the same, and brings it down on like the still figure of Young, and she yells, "Get up!"
Like you're trying to stomp on him or kick him.
Both.
You deal another blow to the body. Throw it again. It's limp. It's like a cut rag doll. He slings up against a different part of the wall now where you leave him. His eyes lull in his head. You see white. He's obviously unconscious, but the bit of color you do see from one of the eyes, the iris, his eyes aren't gold; they're blue.
And like she she just snarls in annoyance and the golem to make short work of the other armed guards, and to
It's
not be gentle about it.
it's able to. I mean, these are little guards. They're not a true threat for a super at their highest. It's pushing them around, getting them flung around the ceiling. They are shooting it and hitting it with the batons. The batons, they're like it's almost like a cotton candy stick that's replenishing. When they hit them with it, some of the foam sticks to them, and then they pull the baton away, and the foam sort of reforms into this solid shape. But it doesn't seem to be having a giant effect on the plant golems.
Mm-hmm.
What you will see, all of you, there'll be a nice dramatic panel as higher up, well beyond someone's reach, 20 feet up, in one of the observatory windows that are looking into this central chamber, someone taps on the glass. This female figure, a 20 plus year old female scientist, lab coat, big curly hair, and an updo, looks down on the proceedings, moves her glasses. Golden eyes look down into the surroundings as she taps on the glass and says, "Have fun, playthings."
And like, Julem isn't great. Cause like right now, all she's like thinking of is just wrecking this place.
Fun? Play?
No, but like, in Muscle Sheep's eyes, this is not Julem anymore. Like she's just like destroying everything with reckless abandon.
So I am going to have my tail between my legs and say, "You are doing me a frighten."
And then she'll just turn and snarl, then get out of here! Get Void and run!
I'm
Like
going
she'll
to pick up Void and start running then.
Okay.
The question is, though, do I pick Void up in my mouth or in my arms?
Which you feel is more sanitary.
Well, it's Muscle Sheep. Let's not go down that road. I mean, he drinks from the toilet bowl.
True.
Well, then that's the thing. You see Void in this like black gooey stuff, and you know it probably doesn't smell great.
Well, if it doesn't smell great, then I'm not going to use my mouth.
So yeah, you'll pull Void out of that goo.
Void, you're able to talk. You might sound a bit bleary with your head so fuzzy, but you're not comatose.
Yeah, sorry, had to fix my mouse there for a second. I wasn't staying quiet because I didn't think I was comatose or anything. I was just not wanting to interfere with what was going on with my issues. So,
Yeah, no worries.
it's like, get to me when you can, guys. I'll be alright. Over here, dying in the corner. Nah. Don't want to leave Jalem behind. That's just an invitation to wind up having her get captured.
So I'm probably going to pull on you like, come on, we need to go. But you're going to resist.
Yeah, I'll just ask you to help get the stuff off of me.
I'm going to, at saying that, I'm going to take a lick. What does this stuff taste like?
Has Muscle Sheep ever swam in like a public pool?
Oh no.
Public pool, maybe not so much, but river or two?
Not so much river. It tastes like the most strongly chlorinated pool water that's ever been chlorinated.
Okay, so we'll probably just say like, get this stuff off me. I'm like, okay, lick.
Preferably not that way.
Alright, so you guys go to town on that. Muscle Sheep, roll me a plus your savior. Roll to defend Void Spawn from.
Okay. I hit.
Yeah, you did. You're gonna have to expose yourself a little bit, escalate the situation here. You are able to. Let's see. So you can take influence over Void Spawn if you don't already have it, or you can clear a condition, possibly.
I don't think I have any conditions, unless I wasn't supposed to clear them from 2 weeks ago.
I do not remember what you were at before.
Well, I remember I was angry and guilty.
Well, unless you've done something to clear them, they should still be there.
Okay. So if they are still there, that would be a 7.
Okay, well, that's still a hit.
Okay. Oh wait, no. Never mind. Okay, let's see. I think I'm gonna clear guilty because I kind of feel bad about. I do kind of feel bad about Jalem. Getting yelling at me, but then Void Spawn is like, "Hey, help me get this stuff off me." And so Muscle Sheep is like, "I'm helping."
Yeah, you're doing a firm help. There's some. It's a bit chaotic, like is apparent. Jalem's tearing up these guards. You're trying to help Void spawn out. Emily, Titania is just not waking up, and no amount of jiggling highlights doing seems to be helping. Although the chaos of this room is also getting to you as well. But basically, in these final panels here, this snapshot of pandemonium of Jalem really kind of losing control here a little bit, and you guys have seen her pull guns on people and stuff, but like again, you guys are minors. You're trying to be the superhero thing. These are human beings, and those wounds they're not petty. Like she's breaking ribs, probably breaking some skulls. Like this is serious.
And all the while, you just hear her yelling like for Dr. Young to get out of here and face her.
You gotta knock her out.
But
That's what
we'll
I'm
have,
planning, but I imagine that's next session.
yeah, we'll have that snapshot of the pandemonium, and up in that observing glass, you just see that golden-eyed scientist looking down and giggling in if unfeminine, again in a way that doesn't suit that body. You think, and as soon as it finishes laughing, she blinks and her eyes are brown, not gold. And when they turn brown, she stops doing what she was doing and looks down, gasps a bit, turns and runs back where you cannot see her anymore.
Suspicious.
And we'll say that that is the stopping point for this little bit of story here. There will be one more panel in our page rather in this issue of the comic, as you see Neri and Marrow running down their hallway. Take a left, a right, another left, and they eventually reach this room that's marked Experiment 3.41 Holding Area. Code name Muscle Fox.
Oh.
And that'll be the end of the issue.